Words of Motion, brought to you by Ian, James, and Brooke.
Kinematics, the branch of mechanics concerned with the motion of objects without reference to the forces that can cause the motion. Speed, the rate at which someone or something is able to move or operate. Velocity, the speed of something in a given direction. The speed of the vehicle was 0.32 meters a second. The velocity of the vehicle was 0.32 meters a second southeast. Motion, the action or process of moving or being moved. Acceleration, increase in the rate or speed of something. Force, two forces acting in opposite directions on an object and equal in size. An unbalanced force, forces that cause a change in the motion of an object. Net force, the sum of all forces acting on an object. A Newton, the SI unit of force. In the example shown, there are 300 newtons of force being applied to either side of the book. The net force is 600 newtons because both sides are applying 300 newtons of force. Friction, the resistance that one surface or an object encounters when moving over another. Kinetic friction, the amount of retarding force between two objects that are moving relative to each other. Static friction, the friction that exists between a stationary object and the surface on which it's resting. Freefall, downward movement under the force of gravity only. Motion, any object that once projected or dropped continues in motion by its own inertia and is influenced only by the downward force of gravity. Inertia, a tendency to do nothing or remain unchanged. Momentum, the quantity of motion of a moving body measured as a product of its mass and velocity. Newton's first law of motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion. Second law of motion. The acceleration of an object as produced by a net force is directly proportional to the magnitude of the net force in the same direction as the net force, and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. Third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.